Hi, welcome to the Millennia Tech Talk. Topic today is why is your critical business checklist a spreadsheet? Our agenda will be to do a very brief Millennia background and show you an example of a spreadsheet and how it is used as a checklist, and then compare that to an actual online checklist demo using our Collect Docs application. And time permitting, we'll do questions at the end. So I am Michael Cipriano. I'm co-founder of Millennia Group. We started Millennia in 1996, providing document management solutions. We developed FileStar, our hosted document management system, in 2004, and Collect Docs, our online checklist, in 2014. Collect Docs is currently used for a wide variety of applications, from employment visa collection, onboarding, and due diligence, to name a few. Just to show a quick comparison of spreadsheets, checklists versus online checklists, you have multiple user capabilities in both fashions, both types of checklists, and that can be done via, on a spreadsheet, via email, saving it on a network drive, or even in the cloud. Multiple users are certainly possible on an online checklist, just with user rights. Security over sections and tabs and items in a checklist, not easily accomplished in a spreadsheet, if at all. However, with an online checklist, you can set security by user and down to even specific items. And document attachments certainly can be done in a spreadsheet via a hyperlink, essentially, and that may or may not work when it's a cloud-based sharing of a checklist and documents, but certainly won't work via email. Whereas an online checklist, the documents are embedded into the checklist list items, and so it's very seamless. Notifications of updates, really for a spreadsheet, whether or not, if it's a cloud, you might get a notification that the file was modified, but you won't know what items within that file were modified, and that won't work at all if it's on a network drive, and certainly not in email. An online checklist, you'll not only get notified when the checklist has been updated, but you can get notification down to the specific item that was changed. And in that respect, the checklist items done in a spreadsheet, you don't really have a history, or for compliance reasons, of items and actions taken in the spreadsheet, only that the file was changed. Whereas an online checklist, you have full history of all actions taken. So there's a variety of differences between a spreadsheet checklist and an online checklist, including that on an online checklist you'll have dashboards, auto reminders, and also full global reporting. So let's take a quick look at a spreadsheet-based checklist, and this is a very good spreadsheet checklist. Even includes a little bit of a scorecard here. This is just a sample, but it's very well organized. It has your questions here, and you can put your responses in. You can even rate the items in terms of importance, but it is well organized, so a variety of users would certainly be able to share this and complete the items. There's even an analysis chart in this model that shows you the importance of the various different sections. And then for documents, it doesn't have an attachment capability. It really is just a list of documents that were reviewed as part of the process of answering the questions or filling in the other information. So it's not all self-contained in this particular type of checklist. So that's just one example of a spreadsheet-based checklist. There are many, many others. Now here's Collect Docs, and this is an online checklist system. And the first thing you're looking at here is the dashboard for the ABC Corporation, and I'm logged in as Tom Billingsley. And you can see on my dashboard that I can see very clearly my open checklists, active checklists, and the due dates and the dates created, and even an indicator of the progress that we're making towards completing these checklists. Other items on my dashboard include alerts, so I'm being notified when items are completed, items are due, etc. I can include forms in my checklist so that I can see or attach forms to items that I'm sending out to others to complete, and we'll show an example of that. And you have templates, so that when you create checklists, you can save them as a template and reuse them, which makes adding a new checklist extremely fast. So let's add a checklist, and we're actually going to start from scratch. And we'll set a due date for this checklist. We won't pick from a template because we want to show how easy it is to create, but you can also customize your numbering in the checklist, and you can add additional fields. So we'll add a field that sort of replicates the rating field, and you can have up to 3 in any checklist. So we've created our blank checklist. Now we need to fill in the items, and there's 4 different item types that you can choose from. You can create a folder, which would contain other items. You can have documents, you can have data points, and you can have tasks. And each one of these items can be indicated as high priority and can have its own individual due date outside of the checklist due date. And then you'll see here we have the rating field that we added as additional information. So let's add some items, and that's going to be a document. It's high priority, and we'll do another document, a little less priority. Let's do customer contracts, and let's make that a folder because we'll put multiple documents in there. And that'll be a document, and that's high priority. And we'll put a task or a data point. That's a data point. And a few tasks. Also a task, and let's give this one a due date. Okay, so we have a variety of different items that we've created in our checklist. And one thing to note is it's very easy to modify the checklist after it's created. You can move items around. It will automatically renumber the items, and you can quickly add more items. Into the system. So it's very simple to maintain these checklists, and now I could save that as a template and name it if I wanted to reuse this same exact checklist in the future. So now that we have our checklist created, you can see it's not completed, but you can complete this in a variety of different ways. You can complete it yourself simply by uploading items. So we're uploading a document because that was a document item, and now that item is there and it's showing as being checked off, and I can view that item directly from my checklist. However, I can also add users and give users rights to my checklist. So I can pass out rights to be read-only for contributors, for modifying rights, or even full admin. If you're a read-only or a contributor, you can even customize the rights so that they only have access to a particular area of the checklist. You can add as many users as you want, and these users will help you complete the checklist. Now, you can see here one of the main features is you also have indicators that let you know there's various different information available on each item so that you stay on top of the item. So in this case, it's a high priority item. In this case, we see there's a due date. And there are a variety of other items that you can have as well. You can attach notes. And you can also have requirements. And these items are both indicated as well. So your checklist is very well defined, and it's helping to communicate to the other users what needs to be done. But the most powerful feature of an online checklist, besides the integration between documents and data and the checklist itself, is the ability to request items from other people to help complete your checklist. So you can add users to do that, but you can also send a direct request. So I can send a request to an individual user for an individual item. It can be any email address, and they won't need a username and password. Or you can request multiple items from the same user. We'll select a document and a task, and I will send both of these off to any user. I'll send it to myself, and we'll go ahead and attach a form, and we'll send it now, but you could send it in the future, and then we'll remind them after a certain period of time, and then repeat the reminder. So now that request has been sent to that user. And you can see here also there's an indicator that lets you know that Tom sent it to Mike at this date and time. And in this case, there was a form attached. So it's very well organized. And in fact, you can keep track of all this information here, but you can also view the history behind any item as well. So we know it was added, and we know it was sent, and we know all the information about that item. You can keep track of notifications or items as well via the notification system, which you can customize by checklist, and you can actually set default global settings as well. If it's a priority checklist, you can set instant notification for any checklist modification and customize it to your needs for that particular checklist. So we sent a request, so I'm actually going to log out and go to that request, and you'll see that Tom sent a checklist to Mike requesting that 2 items be completed. And without a username and password, that request actually goes out as a mini checklist to the recipient, and they can quickly click through, follow the instructions, they download the attachment, and complete the item. And if it's a document, they can upload that document directly into the system without a username and password, and their individual checklist is complete. And we can log back in. And you can see the progress that has been made. The tax return was loaded, and if you look at the history, you'll see Tom added the item, inserted a note, sent the request, and Mike completed the request by uploading the file. So it's all perfectly tracked for compliance purposes, and you are tracking the completion of the document. For data points, it's as simple as entering in information. So very easy to maintain this list, to share this list with others, and have others help complete it, and it's fully tracked. You can also export this once it's complete, and you can export this in a variety of different fashions. But when you export it as a folder, it comes out with each checklist item, even if it was just a task or a data point, and you get a full history from when the checklist was created all the way to when it was exported, every action that was taken. So for compliance reasons, it's a very powerful method of tracking information. You can do global reporting on the checklist as well, so you can see all items. And there's some standard reports where you can say that you're looking for tasks that aren't complete. You can also do that checklist by checklist. And you can also export any checklist to a spreadsheet or all checklists to a global spreadsheet and do custom reporting. You can maintain your own contacts as well within the system and set your global notifications. So that is Collect Docs, and you can see what a powerful application it is compared to a spreadsheet, both accomplishing basically the same thing, but one highly integrated with the documents and much more user-friendly. Thank you. We'll take questions now.